responding to is by Manuel Fuentes, and he stated that the designated hitter is not allowed in the National League. And I'm going to go straight into the can I borrow that one? My opponent's secondary claims were the American League is the only division which has a designated hitter on its roster. The second claim is the designated hitter has changed the game. The third one is the quality of the designated hitter player. My response to the secondary claim one is he stated that the National League does not include the designated hitter. And the National League can use a designated hitter as long as the American League team is the home team. So basically, the National League teams are not at a complete disadvantage when facing American League teams. The National League teams don't have a player whose main purpose is to hit, but they do have a lot of other utility players that clearly bat better than their pitchers. This lessens the gap between the batting averages of both teams when playing on American League fields. A response to the secondary claim, which was the designated hitter has changed the game. During interleague play, the designated hitter is not allowed to play on the National League fields, thus causing the American League team that relies heavily on the designated hitter to use pinch hitting. Pinch hitting is usually not used in the early innings of the games because it does not allow the player that was substituted for the pinch hitter to come back into the game, thus defeating the purpose of being able to use the pinch hitter to come in for the tired pitcher in the later innings. The American League does not have a complete advantage due to the National League's use of pinch hitting. The pitchers would have to bat for at least half the game before the managers begin to strategize when they should use their pinch hitters. During this time, the American League pitchers are batting, they're batting terribly. Out of the 278 American League pitchers that batted last year, 2011, 33 of them got save hits. From the ones that didn't get save hits, 44.2% of them struck out. He stated that designated hitters reduce the possibility of pitching a perfect game, yet there has only been 23 perfect games in the whole history of Major League Baseball. And from the year 2000 to present, there has only been 7. 5 of those 7 have been against American League teams that use a designated hitter. One of them being American League pitcher, and the other 4 being from the National League. Response to the third one, which is the quality of the designated hitter player. He stated that the designated hitter are the highest paid players, and only a handful of them bat over 400. This is usually achieved by players who spend most of their time as designated hitters. Yet, not one of these players who spend most of their career playing as designated hitter has won a Major League Baseball Most Valuable Player award. The designated hitter, being the highest paid player, costs the teams more money. According to Dan McLaughlin, between 2006 and 2010, the average winning American League team had a payroll of $108.4 million compared to $88.7 million in the National League. That's a $20 million difference. But the key word here is winning. Over the same 5 seasons, the average American League team that finished 500 or worse had a payroll of $71 million, indistinguishable from the $72 million average in the National League. But $37.3 million behind the winning teams in their own league, while the National League trailed the winners only by $17.6 million. The purpose of the owners is to create revenue and wins. So it's not the teams that have the DHs that have the advantage. It's the teams that have more money to spend on their players. And
Right, Uriel, I think you gave the argument a lot more structure than I remember it having, and I think you did a good job kind of clarifying what the issues are and where there are, in fact, inferences. I do think, though, that you have a tendency to fall into presenting a whole bunch of data and not telling us what inference we're supposed to draw from that data. And I think you want to give the claim first. This is usually the best way to present the counter argument. So, like at the very end, for instance, your argument should be it's the team wealth that determines the outcomes of their competition rather than whether or not they have the designated hitter. Because then you start presenting a whole bunch of statistics and everything, and at the end you're making the inference. But I'm going, well, what does all this information mean? How am I supposed to process this? If you give the claim first, then I can listen to the information and see how it supports that particular claim. And so you're presenting it a little bit backwards there. And you do that in 2 or 3 places. I can, as I look back over information that you presented, I can think about how I could make an inference from that information to the conclusion that would contradict the advocate's point, but you should be doing that for us instead of us having to do that ourselves. You know, I think you found good information, and you just need to clarify what conclusions we should be drawing from it. All right, thank you.